Welcome, dear viewers, to CouchWarrior TV on YouTube. I am the CouchWarrior, and you are watching Arcane, a Skyrim Let's Play. When we last left off, we were trying to contend with a puzzle here, and I have taken some time to review the two books that we have on this table. One of them is a journal that belongs to Lua Al Skaven, which is a rather sad story of her husband's death, and the other is some kind of partial love story, but I believe this book holds the key to us getting in this closed gate. So, having reviewed the text, what I found is that on certain paragraphs within this story, there are mentions of the specific animals that we have on the key above. So what I've elected to do is kind of put them in order. So the first paragraph is eagle, the second paragraph mentions snake, the third paragraph mentions whale, and the last animal mentioned is snake. So I am going to put those in that order. Before reviewing the book, I thoroughly searched the chamber looking for any clues on the walls or in the carvings here, and there are none. So the only conclusion I could come to is that the book holds the secret, and since there are mentions of these specific animals, I think it stands to reason that this is going to unlock the gate. So let's give it a shot. Alright, now, just to be on the safe side, I will probably crouch down here behind this thing so I don't take the full brunt of any poison darts. Yes, very good. It worked. Welcome back to the adventure, dear viewers. In the first half, Chapter 6, Part 1, we made it a goodly distance into this maze of barrows with a Lua Al Skaven animating corpses all along the way and giving us lots of grief. So, as per usual, we are going to be very cautious here. You can see this hallway is just bristling with traps. I'm going to put an arrow down here, see if I can scare up any bad guys. And then we are going to pick our way down here carefully. There are a few things to loot here, it looks like. So, alright. Let's see if we can get in here. Of course we can. Well, maybe not. It's only adept, right? Thank you for all your kind comments and words regarding Part 1 of Chapter 6. I am putting a little bit extra time and effort into some of the storytelling here. It's going to extend the amount of time between episodes, but I'm hoping that it makes each episode that much more rewarding. And as I mentioned in the previous episode, we are going to take some time in Part 2 to talk a little bit about Fleet's psyche and his psychological profile. I'm assuming that chain would have been to shut off these traps had they been going off. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's a mess down there. Ooh, I think I actually got him in the knee. Okay. Well, we've got a great killing lane here. There's no reason that I shouldn't be able to polish these guys off before going down there. This hallway is... You've got one more. You are down, sir. This hallway is also brimming over with traps, so I'm very, very thankful for our levels in stealth and our Lightfoot perk. This is a time when that Lightfoot perk comes in really handy. Alright. This chamber is just full of problems. First of all, we're kind of forced to go out into the open. But let's size things up first before we make our move. And got a book here. Check this out. It's a skill book. Excellent. Increases in illusion. That is always welcome. Let's put one down there. I see a bunch of crypts down there. Simple arrow is not going to wake them up, so I'm guessing if they are going to wake up, it's triggered by something else. It's a pedestal. What's on it? Anything? There's something. Oh, it's a key. Alright. I take this key. Madness ensues. Ooh, darts. Draugrs. Okay, we're going to head for high ground here.
I shall have vengeance for the death of my husband. Rise!
So, Lua Al Skaven is actually, I can sort of sympathize with her in some ways, Fleet especially. Her husband went to war for the Imperials. From the sounds of it, he was forced into service, and then he died. And Lua Al Skaven was quite an accomplished mage, and rather than returning the body of her dead husband to her, they burned the body, which apparently is some military custom, perhaps. But in doing so, they actually destroyed the body, and Lua was interested in trying to reanimate him, so in her mind, in her crazy mind, her husband was lost to her forever because of the Imperials, and now she's gone on some kind of psychotic rampage. Oh, here we go. Ooh. That was a bad miss. Here he comes, though. We got him now. As you saw there, I just kind of lined the Draugrs up. I fired into the wall, kind of got them all lined up, and bing, 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 right down the line. So, to some degree, I can sympathize with Lua. I think the problem here is that she caught Fleet on a bad day. Fleet is not feeling charitable anymore. In fact, Fleet has taken a dark turn, and it's not necessarily because he's feeling vengeful. Fleet is always feeling some sense of wanting to get revenge. His revenge has been sort of aimed at individuals like his father, for example, or Linway, for example, and now Mercer, of course. But the darkness that has infested his soul at this point really comes from this death experience that he had and what it means to him. Oh, here we go. Here's a mage. This is a great long shot opportunity. Nice narrow opening. We just got to get him to come back. Come on back. Come on. Yeah. Okay. Let's knock on the door. Nothing. All right. Moving on. So Fleet has a lot of things to try to sort out right now. Not the least of which is this idea that he died and passed into some place, some void, some place of darkness. And whether or not he actually died is up for debate. But the way Fleet views it, he died. In his mind, he's had some kind of brush with death. Maybe not just a brush, maybe something more than that. So this is really kind of about him sort of sorting out what's going on and the psychological impacts of all of that. But for now, we need to get through this barrow alive before we can do anything else. So we got a Draugr up here, at least one. I'm going to fire one down there, line them up. He's thinking it over. All right, great. We're actually getting a lot of levels here between skill books and combat. Quite a few levels. All right, I'm constantly taking a peek behind me because normally, You know, normally barrows are pretty linear, and this barrow is no exception. There aren't too many barrows where you can go multiple directions, and even so, if that is the case, they all sort of tie together in the end. But in this particular case, Lua Al Skaven is kind of throwing a wrench into the works because she's been springing these sort of magical traps on us where she will animate bodies that are behind us and around us on all sides. So I'm constantly kind of taking a look over my shoulder just to make sure nobody's sneaking up on us. Okay, there's a big trap in the ceiling there. I don't think it's going to affect us. No, that's not going to affect us. We don't worry about pressure plates, but we do have a Draugr ahead of us. Ah, shoot. I almost walked him right into that trap. A little bit late. Unfortunately, he sees me, but these stuns are keeping him from rushing me. Wow. There are traps all over the place. Alright, marching on. Alright, we got a mage walking patrol here. This is a rather large chamber. I don't really know what all is going on down here. So I'm going to take this mage quietly with the dagger, and then we can size up what's going on in the rest of the chamber. Okay, pretty simple pattern. So we're going to wait until she's on her little return here, and then we'll roll in for the backstab. Here we go. Quick, silent, and deadly. Alright, let's have a look around. One thing I'm noticing is this crack, not big enough for us to get through, but it may be big enough for us to fire an arrow through, which could be interesting. If I need to sort of call off the dogs, I might be able to put an arrow through there and drive some enemies down another hallway. I don't know. Some loot. Quiet. Oh, she's doing something right now. Yep, there it goes. We got to go back the way we came and fast into the darkness. Man, that is about the third time I think she's done that to us now. That is nasty. But Fleet, our assassin, is perfectly equipped to handle that situation. If he were a stand-up sort of sword and board fighter, that could be a real problem without any stealth levels or anything like that. Instantly surrounded, no matter how powerful you are, it could be a problem. Okay, I was able to put an arrow through there, and it did kind of draw them down that hall. That gives us an opportunity to set up an ambush here. Just buying time really is all. Alright, let's move into the darkness here. Let's set up a nice killing lane right through this crease. And let's go ahead and draw them in. Come on, guys. There's one. Ah, jeez. I hate that. Ah. I didn't even get a full pull on that one. Another one into the wall. Going to bring him into my sight line here. Come on, buddy. Come on. Whoa, another one. Holy cow. First arrow on him did hardly anything. Fleet's journal. Falling into black. Darkness washes over me and I ease into the waiting arms of the eternal void. The darkness is balm to the wounds upon my restless and tortured soul. Dying was not what I expected. The moment Mercer struck, I knew it was all over. It had to be over. Men like Mercer don't miss. So why am I here? Why am I walking Mundus? I don't deserve the second chance I've been given. I failed Sithis. I didn't anticipate the trap that lay before me, and I failed. I have no memory of what happened after entering the sleeping void, and it has been the source of much reflection these few days. Is Sithis speaking to me, or am I truly mad? Burn it down. What does it mean? Burn what down? The Brotherhood? I fear I will never fully understand these messages. What if they're not messages at all, but the mad inventions of a broken man? Okay, I think we've taken out everything down here. No, wait. Hold that thought. Oh, man. See that? Ugh. We were too far gone to try to distract him any further. This guy, we still have a chance. That's good. Boy, I think one more hit from that first Draugr and we would have been toast. So, good timing. Good timing! Alright. There were a lot of Draugr in here. She's kind of pulling out all the stops now, which indicates to me that we might be close. She's getting nervous. It's over here. I think we have a big trap, one of those crushing traps here to our left. Iron armor, we don't need that. Look at that. Big round circle, looking for spikes. They're the spikes. So, we've skirted the edge of that one. Alright, what's next? Let's put one down here. Not that that means anything. She tends to wait until we're in the middle of a bad situation, and they all spring to life around us. All right, here we go. Another chamber. Let's check it out. Oh, this might be our final stop, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like kind of a grand chamber, the sort of place where she might hang out with her minions. But her MO is to ambush us, so I would expect that something will happen when we move further into the room. I feel like they're playing possum at this point. So we're going to stay to the edges, and I'm going to go for the high ground, and we're going to get a good look at this chamber. Oh, there we go, right there. Let's get up here quick. Quick, quick. Okay. Where are you? Now, she is going to be our first target. If she truly is conjuring or animating these creatures, then targeting her may end them all. There she is. Yep, there's one good hit on her. Oh, they're coming now. Okay, we're going to bail here. Back into the shadows. They are directly above us. At least a couple of them. Let's put one across the hall here in this door. See if we can draw them to the other side.
Is someone there?
Ooh, even better. She's coming. Alright, here we go. Thread the needle. Perfect. Look at that. Whoa. Our plan worked. Now, those ghosts up there must be the ghosts of the two lovers that were part of that story. That would be my guess. But before we check that out, I want to check out Lua's body. There she is. Key, that's good. Oh, we're encumbered. But we are carrying a lot of extra junk, so let's ditch a few things, especially in this apparel category. There's just lots of useless stuff here. We certainly don't need a couple extra pairs of boots. We've also got... We've got this orcish armor. 2 suits of orcish armor. That weighs a ton. We'll get rid of that. Okay, what's in here? Key should open this, right? Yeah. Okay, we'll come and check that out later. First, we're going to case this room. I'm going to assume at this point that those ghosts aren't a threat.
Thank you for releasing us from her spell.
Now we can rest in peace once again. Come, Fury, my love.
Well, you're welcome.
Take this with our gratitude.
Blade. Ghost blade. Well, I don't know what the properties of this are quite yet, but we'll take it and have a look. We got one of those unusual gems, which is great. Why don't we quickly see if there's anything we can disenchant? Shed some weight. Once again, the pouches I'm going to keep. The necklace of alchemy I'm going to keep. The shock suppression, we can get rid of that. And those gauntlets of alchemy, we're going to keep those too. Look at that. Wow. We are almost hitting another level. We've been racking them up. So among the comments that I got from Act 2, Chapter 6, Part 1, were questions about flashbacks and whether or not I was going to be using flashbacks as a plot device. As I mentioned before, I have recorded all the footage of everything that happened to Fleet during that period of time that we haven't captured in the story. I will not be doing flashbacks per se. I will be using some of that footage to enhance the storytelling I'm doing now, but I will not be relying on flashbacks to tell the story. Flashbacks are great if they're done well. Otherwise, they can be sort of gimmicky. I'm really interested in making sure the story is always clear and that the story is always told from Fleet's point of view. So things that are really, really important to the story, I will almost always provide you by some other means. Recently, what I've been doing, of course, are the journal entries, where we get sort of a peek inside Fleet's head, a little bit about what he's thinking about and how he's interpreting what's going on around him. And that tends to be the way that I'm going to be telling this part of the story. So I know some of you had mentioned that you like Fleet's journal entries. So that's great news because you have a lot more of that to look forward to. I think it's a storytelling device that works pretty well. Plus it gives us a rare peek into what's going on in his head and in his thought process. So this is good. All right, we got a significant amount of loot here. Not too bad. This has actually been a pretty productive side quest. Pick up what we can. Robes. I guess I could take the robes. What else is here? Not sure why I took the bone meal, but it's okay. These books I have read. We'll take the robes. They're worth good money. Don't weigh much, as usual. So, spell tome. Transmute mineral ore. Look at this. It is with deepest regret that I must inform you of the death of your husband. He lay down his life in battle, helping retake the imperial city from the Aldmiri. He showed great courage in his final hour, and his sacrifice will not be in vain. All considered him a man of high moral standing and a shining example of the best the Empire has to offer. Please take solace in the fact that he gave up his life and he fought bravely and blah, blah, blah for the Empire. Well, you can understand why she feels the way that she does. In some of her ravings during the mission here, she mentioned, I think at least once, about them having defiled his body. So she must have some specific issue as well with burning the body. I don't know if it's just because that basically means she can't reanimate him or if there's something else there, but these side quests are actually really fantastic. Some of them are very charged with emotion and great little vignettes of storytelling. So the side quests are amazing. And to be honest with you, one of the reasons why I thought it was important to build some flexibility and possibly a bit more complexity into Fleet's storyline was that on our current linear path where we were really heavily focused on Thieves Guild and Dark Brotherhood stuff, we kind of miss out on some of the side quest material. Now, as we go through this transition with Fleet, where he's beginning to come to grips with who he really is and what his mission is, there will be more opportunity, I think, for us to do some of those interesting side quests. So, really, it was a way of injecting some mystery, some fun, but sort of opening things up a bit so that side quests like this one were within the realm of possibility and actually made sense within the context of Fleet's whole story. So that is the deal, my friends, and it looks like we are out. This is kind of where we started from. So let's head out here. I think I'm going to use that cooking spit. We're going to cook up some of this food we've been carrying around. Maybe have a little bite to eat, and then it's time for us to make our ascent up the mountain. So I've been carrying quite a bit of game around with me, and the one important ingredient, of course, I've got to have for everything is salt. We've acquired quite a bit of salt at this point, so there's no point in carrying around raw meat. We're going to go ahead and roast up as much of this meat as we can, and then I think we'll make some soups, whatever we can make in terms of soup. The more complex dishes that have multiple ingredients, like the soups and stews and stuff like that, generally do more good in terms of health and stamina benefits, things like that. If you're interested in some practical application for this and you're new to this series, I encourage you to check out the prologue or even Chapter 1, Part 1, where we talk in some detail and do a little bit of a demo even on how you can use vegetable soup to help with stamina increases, stamina bonuses for low-level characters, and how that applies to blocking and leveling, stuff like that. All great information. All came from Mr. Gasgoyle, who I'd like to give a shout-out to. If you haven't visited his YouTube channel, I encourage you to do that. He's got a great series on building an assassin. It's an assassin character build, and there's an episode in there where he talks at length about vegetable soup and the benefits as well. So check it out. For now, we're going to grab a bite to eat, and then as promised, I am going to launch into a quick discussion of my roleplay style and the concept of psychological profile and how it works. So one of the things that I use to help manage in-game decisions is the psychological profile. And really what it is a rating system that consists of 6 different attributes, and then we apply degrees or scores to those attributes, and I just refer to it from time to time. The 6 attributes that are important to the system are sanity, what is your character's grip on reality; piety, how religious or spiritual is your character; passion, how committed are they to their cause; selfishness, that's pretty self-explanatory; cruelty, do they give money to beggars or do they kick puppies; and loyalty. How loyal are they to their organizations, to their family, to their friends? Now, you have to look at this scoring system through some sort of lens because it can be complicated by circumstances. So what I have chosen to do is evaluate these scores based on Fleet's commitment to the Dark Brotherhood and to Sithis. So what are the attributes or the scores we apply to these attributes? There's really 5 of them, and it's just a leveling system, right? So at the top we have total, then we have high, some is kind of a middle-of-the-road score, then we go down to low, and then none, having none of that attribute at all. So given that context, what does Fleet's current psychological profile look like? Here it is. We've got a sanity of some. Given the recent events, he is questioning his own sanity. It does not mean that he's completely crazy, but he is questioning his sanity. Piety, he is totally pious. He is a religious man now. He's committed to Sithis. His passion for the Dark Brotherhood and the cause of the Dark Brotherhood is total. His selfishness is some. He demonstrates some selfishness when it applies to his objectives, but he does freely give money to beggars and so forth. His cruelty is high in that he has no qualms about finishing a person off if it suits his goals, and his loyalty to the Dark Brotherhood is total. As I said, it is important to apply some sort of lens here, right? Because you could argue, if you wanted to, that his loyalty was low or even none as it applies to his father, because we all know from the ongoing story here that he detests his father. He detests Linway, for example. They are kind of the crux of his whole revenge motivation. However, you could do that in a lot of different areas. So it's really important that you come up with a lens by which you're going to view these attributes, because the point is that whenever you're questioning how to make an in-game decision, or you're thinking about or contemplating the results or the impact of an in-game decision, you should be looking at it through the same consistent lens every time. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at in-game decisions such as, I don't know, committing an assassination, performing an assassination, right? Of course he's going to do that. His loyalty to the Dark Brotherhood is total, and it is a Dark Brotherhood mission, so there's no question at all that he would carry out that killing. If he's ordered to do it, he will do it. Now, a character whose loyalty or passion was some might have qualms about performing that task. So you have to figure out what the lens is, and the point is to just consistently use it each time that you use it. So as you can imagine, characters who are on the extremes of the attribute scores are the ones who are kind of the most extreme characters and potentially the most interesting to play. If you had a character that was rated at some across all 6 attributes, basically you would have a character who was really wishy-washy, potentially boring, or even just unpredictable. So what I find is that a character may start at the beginning as being a bit more of a middle-of-the-road character. And if you go back and look at the show notes for the early episodes, you'll find that that was the case here with Fleet. I don't know that he had any scores that were rated total at that point, but as he acquires life experience and more crazy stuff happens to him, his scores become more and more extreme over time. So that's really what it is. It's a role-playing aid. So if you're interested in role-playing your game in the style that I am using here, that is one of the fairly critical pieces that I use, and it's just a guideline. It's all it is. The other piece that's helpful is in combination with a psych profile, a character background story, something that gives those attributes, at least the starting attributes for the game, some sort of context so we understand why he is the way that he is. So if you look at the background story for Fleet, that can be found on CouchWarrior.tv, that background story gives some context to his starting psychological profile, and when you fit all those things together, it makes the role-playing so much more fun and so much more consistent, and really helps when you're in those difficult situations where you can't decide, do I make this choice or do I make that choice? You can look at the psych profile, you can look at the background, and you can say, you know what, based on what's going on, based on his past experience, I think that he would do A instead of B. It's just one more way to help in that role-playing, because there are times when the game is going to present you with a fantastic prize or some promise of a wonderful prize where actually pursuing that course of action would run completely counter to what your character would do. And if you're interested in pure role-playing and not power-playing, then something like psych profile and a character background can help keep you honest. And over time, I think, even though you may pass up some obvious benefits, the end result is that you'll have a much richer experience for having stuck to your guns. So that is me on my soapbox about role-playing and psych profile. Take it or leave it. That's my methodology, and I explain it here in more detail because people have been asking me about it. If you're interested in any information about Fleet Psych Profile or about how the system works, I've got a whole section on CouchWarrior.tv that refers to it, and we'll show you how to set up your own. It's really simple, and like I said, it's just a guideline and nothing more. It's going to help you in the long run. Ow. Oh, I took a shot there. I could make that jump. So I think this is the last troll we've got left. I am just going to pick away at this guy until he is good and dead. I am so tired of these guys I could puke. There we go. Right down the spine. All right. So, we are finally making our ascent up the mountain to this strange place that Sithis has called us to. Now that was weird. Almost looked like I had conjured my own dagger there. So I'm hoping that we can find it. This whole ascent up the mountain is not well marked. It is crazy to get to. I've gotten lost on multiple occasions trying to get here because it really isn't a well-worn trail. So I generally have to do some hunting around, and as you know, we are using the Frostfall mod, so weather is a factor, and the more time I spend dicking around here in the mountains, the more likely I am to freeze to death or have some god-awful thing happen. So it looks like we may have a path over here. I don't know. Let's go have a look up here, see if we can see anything. Even if it's not the right way, maybe there's a good spot where we can get a look down and see something helpful. At this point, Sithis he's confused. He's lost track of time. There are large portions of his memory that are missing. And all he has to go on are some scratchings in his journal from that time that he doesn't recall. And he's following some leads from his journal. There we go. It's right there. I can see the structure. It's a Dwemer structure. And we got a campfire here, too. So there's something in his dreams, and when he has these dreams, when he has these vivid dreams, he's been jotting them down in his journal, and as he writes them, I present them to you here. He's also writing things in his journal during the day, during breaks, things like that. So anytime I have a new journal entry, I will share it with you. That's how we get to know Fleet's own thoughts and feelings. So I think we'll start seeing a lot more entries from the journal as we progress through this. The coming episodes are going to be a bit more complicated and a bit more involved because we are piecing together his memories, and that means I'm piecing together footage. I'm doing journal entries, so there's probably going to be a little bit more time between episodes than you've seen from me in the past. but bear with it, because my hope is that each episode will be even better, and the mystery will be interesting as it unfolds. What do we got here? This is the structure right here. We made it. Oh, there's a troll. Take him out. Well, we've reached the end of another episode. Thank you for taking the journey with me, and until next time, may all that you do be swift, quiet, and deadly. And to all Skyrim assassins, I salute you. Silence is our battle cry. You've been watching Arcane, a Skyrim Let's Play. If you liked this video, please rate, like, and subscribe. For more information on this and other CouchWarrior broadcasts, visit me on the web at www.couchwarrior.tv.